What's up, YouTube? This is the Black Critique, Black at you again with another topic here. So just gonna get right into it right now. This is gonna be like a two, maybe three-part series, right? So here we are again talking about politics and basically my experience with the Pan-Africanism strikes back, right? But in this case, it's Pan-Africanism fights blacks. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Brandon, the person who is in charge of that channel, um, his politics is really, really, really troublesome. Like it doesn't add up for someone who's supposed to be pro-black, and he's pro-black in a lot of instances. I don't know how he could be a proud Republican. I don't know any self-respecting person, black person, that could be a proud Republican. Now, he says he's only doing it because it's for, hey, look, the Democratic Party isn't really doing anything for black people, which is very true. But at the same time, why are you a proud Republican? And the reason why I say that is because you could, degrade the Democratic Party. I'm not even gonna say degrade. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth about the Democratic Party and their lack of motivation and them doing nothing for black people unless they're being pushed to do so. Right? They're not. They'll talk a good game, and then when it's come time to show and prove it, they don't do it. You could say that all day. Once again, I'm independent. I vote based upon the political atmosphere and what's more advantageous for black people. It could be a chess move, like, hey, look, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You can vote for that, and you probably might get nothing out of it. But when it comes to him, he's saying, well, this is just a strategic move, right? But when you start criticizing Republicans, he cuts you off, he interrupts you, he gets very flustered, he gets very upset, right? The same thing that he says that blacks, right, that are Democrats get, he's being the same way when you attack the Republican base. And when you bring up valid points about the Republican base, if he doesn't cut you off, right, he he dismisses it or he downplays it, and that's a coon ass move. If we're talking about racism and things like that, you don't downplay that. Oh, that's true, but no, there's no buts. Just like how with the whole Democratic Party. If the Democratic Party is not doing something for us, and you want to know, hey, why are you still voting for the Democratic Party and things like that, it would be wrong to say, yeah, they don't listen to us or, you know, cape for us. But no, there's no but. That's the whole problem, right? So he'll let you talk. You see right here and things like that. He'll let you talk if he agrees with you. He'll let you talk if you're entertaining and stuff like that. Everyone's just like, okay, this is just nuts. Or degrade you like he'll do with Ben or some black person who think they're Aboriginal and stuff like that, and he'll let you rock. But the moment he'll be earnest in his question, like, well, I want to know why black people do this, why black people do that. So he already has preconceived notions. And anything goes against his preconceived notion, he just fights you tooth and nail. He doesn't even let you say what you have to say, right? Why? Because he is just a Confederate, you know what I'm saying? Or more of a Dixiecrat, right? He'll wave that Republican Confederate flag, and he'll have all these talking points like you see in my last videos that I have here. He brought up a lot of Republican talking points that's just basically is not true. So he's basically a tool, willingly or unwillingly. Like I said, this guy is a conundrum. He's an enigma because all the other stuff he says, we're in agreement. What he says about FBA, ADOS, stupid ass Aboriginals, and all that other stuff, we agree 100%. If you check his channel out, when I'm on his channel, we agree. We can rock out. We talk about religion. We agree. Is when politics, he gets, I don't know where his mind's at. He don't take that same intellectual power and use it politically and historically, because he's not stupid. So it was very, very interesting why he rather cape for a bunch of racists, right? Because the Republican Party is the party of racists, right? Because remember, every racist organization in America right now, their political affiliation is the Republican Party, right? So from the KKK to QAnon to the Boogaloo Boys to the alt right, all these groups and little organizations, right? They are Republicans. So my question, that there was a politician, I forgot who was running, and his Republican running mate, he was a Republican, and he said something very racist and disparaging. And he says, "Well, oh no, I'm not racist. Why are you saying I'm racist?" He said, "Okay, if you're not racist, right? The people who condone you think that you're racist and your party's racist, even if you don't think they're racist, right? So that's what we're dealing with right here. And you got all these he's it seems like he's a Republican apologist, you know. So like I said, he wants us to be aligning with the Republican Party, and it really doesn't make any sense to me why. What we're aligning ourselves with, right? Right? What are we aligning ourselves with? So he wants us to align ourselves. Like I said, he says it's only for, hey, we're going to do a strategic move. He also said, hey, look, I'm going to do a petition where it was a petition that I signed, a petition saying to the Democrats, hey, look, if you guys don't do something for us, we're going to switch parties, which is a very beautiful thing, which needs to be done, right? But at the same time, right, don't think that the Republican is the end all and be all. And like I said, he's two-faced. He will say, well, no, the Republican Party is not the end all and be all. Okay, fine, cool. And you say why, you state why the Republican Party is not the end all and be all, and you start saying factual reasons, and he comes up with excuses, right? So he's basically a Larry Elder in training. You know what I'm saying? Larry Elder basically says, racism, systematic racism is a lie. All these other racist tropes he's been saying. He made a career of this. Negroes that are in the Republican Party is there to shit on other black people. They're there to downplay black people's plight in America. So you defending the Republican Party and their ideology, how they think about it, is very, very troubling. And basically, you're pretty much a sellout. You want to be like a Candace Owens. On my other video that I have, that I made not about a week or so ago, saying, and they didn't said anything about it, about Candace Owens saying that black people are the most violent people in America. This is your black Republican Party. This is your black Republican Party. To say that, hey, I'm a Republican because being a Republican is great and it's the best thing for us right now. So like that, you're a fucking fool. You're a goddamn sellout. You're a race traitor. What has a Republican? You know what? Before I keep going on, what we're gonna do right now, I'm basically gonna play a video of when I was on there and the first time, saying we had this agreement and he's cutting me off. It's not letting me talk. And you'll just see, and I'm going to get not my 2 cents in, I'm going to get my $20 worth in. Because you're just going to see. So without further ado, let's let the tape roll, and you're going to see all his hypocritical talking points. Like he'll start off good, and then it'll just be some off-the-wall, bonkers, coon-ass bullshit. But let's see. So you hear that foolishness? You hear that nonsense? They're a traitor to their race. Now, mind you, yes, I'm not caping or rooting for Yvette Carnell. Yes, what she claims to do, she's not really doing. So he's right in that regard, right? As far as her trying to get black people to stick to the Democratic Party when they're not really doing anything. But how is that? Now I would say those people are who are going along with that are misinformed or hopelessly lost and just, at this point they're just praying for change because they know that they can't change them. But to say they're a traitor to their race is going a little bit too far, especially when you're in the Republican Party, where black people and white people that's in that party literally shit on black people. Like, like I, I, I don't get it. Like, does he know what the Republican Party consists of? Does he understand the constituents that he aligns himself with, how they feel about black people as a whole? But you're gonna say Democrats, black people, own race, like, and then he's gonna say that's really sad. No, what's really sad is you not knowing you're a grown ass man and you don't know this fact, right? Knowing that if my enemy is my enemy, but my enemy will become my enemy if they side with me. You know what I'm saying? That my enemy will be my friend and they'll side with me, but they're not siding with us. They're not doing anything for us. So how are those people traitors, right? How are the black people that are siding with the Democrats? They're misguided, yeah. They're not holding them accountable because they're not going to do anything, right? But you're going to say that they're traitors to their race? Like, how is that? Like, his mind is really twisted and distorted. Like, it's just sad. That's sad. That shit is sad. So anyway, soon you're gonna see me come on and basically, like I said before, I'm gonna agree with everything he says, and you're gonna see how he exposes himself as being a Republican, not to weigh his options. Like, hey, look, I'm tired of the Democratic Party. Let me be a Republican and strategically, try to let them know, like, hey, look, it's not working out. There's a shift going all the way to the Republican Party that black people are tired of. So the black people are going over to the Republican Party or any other party in droves, right? But no, he really believes the Republican Party is the answer. And that's the sad coonish part. That's some Sambo shit.
The only way you could describe these peoples, right? Like, what are you? Guys, tell me. Come in here. I want your opinion. What? And you don't got to stay on here, and I'm not going to talk about your nothing.
That's a lie. Because he don't have to stay on here because he's going to kick you off when he doesn't agree with you. He said he wants to hear your opinion. But once he hears your opinion or a different point of view, he gets upset, changes the subject, cuts you off, and he'll never let you finish your point, right? So he's being earnest, right? But then you see how disingenuous he's being.
What do we do with these people who have basically voted for people who are hurting us? And when we go to them and say, brother, sister, do you realize you made a mistake? We got to do something different. They refuse to do something different. They want to do the same thing again while they're sitting here looking at the results of their actions. Like, is that person like sadistic or what? Guys, click the link. Come in here and tell me, what do we do with these people? I'm not the type of person who's like, yo, let's just dismiss these idiots, right? But I will, because it's almost like there's two Black Americas. One Black America that's totally committed to getting shitted on by the Democratic Party, and another Black America that's like, look, we gotta get out of this shit.
Like that's not how it works, right? If you say you have two Black Americas, right? One that's want to get shit on the Democratic Party, what's the other? So he's telling himself here. So if you're a Democrat, you're not for the liberation of black people. Politically, is what he's saying, right? So you see, as he moves forward, he's going to keep pushing Republican talking points. He's doing a Larry Elder, he's doing a Juan Williams, he's doing a Candace Owens, he's doing all these house servant, big house, you know what I'm saying, mammies and coons, you know, just advocating for their own interests, right? But it's to the demise of other black people. So there is two black Americas, right? There's two black Americans. There's one that wants to get out of it, yeah, and I would say there's another that is just content, right? It's content, or you know, they just don't want to make a way for themselves. But you have the dudes, the people that want to get out of it, and the people that don't, right? And to say that Democrats want to do it, my question to him would be, so what Republicans is trying to get black people that are not black? Because we know the black ones are coons, right? The black ones are sellouts. The black ones are traitors to their race. So what black body in the Republican Party is trying to get black people out of the situation? What person in the Republican Party has the best interest of black people is a question that he should be posing to you guys. That's what he should be doing.
We got, like, they don't want to go to Africa. They really don't want to change. That's the problem. Okay, Tiarka, you were just on Go Black's channel. Click the link and tell us what the strong points are. Because a lot of people can get on and say Democrats got more strong points, but they never can get on and tell you what those points are. Okay, so what are the Democratic strong points, right? They're literally denying you reparations.
Republicans are not giving you reparations either. Republicans never said they'll give black people reparations, right? But when you tell him this, he's going to pivot to some other bullshit, right? So I don't know what he's talking about.
They're saying we're not going to do anything specifically for black folks. And they're
Republicans never said they're going to do. Well, that's a lie. Republicans and Democrats said that they're going to fix black people's problems. They both said that, right? And they both had the opportunities to do it. What, like in the past 8 years, and none of them has done it.
They're literally right in front of you while they're hollering broke when it comes to helping you, right? They are laughing they're spitting in your face, and
Democrats may be spitting in our face, but Republicans is trying to lynch you. Like, I'm not saying, hey, go to the party that's spitting in your face, but none of them is going to do you any good, right? None of them does you any good, you know. But let's stop this bullshit false equivalency here, you know, where Democrats is no good, but you run into Massa's house under his skirt, under his Klan robe. Like, get the fuck out of here with this shit. But we're going to go straight to what the brother is saying. You see here, he's basically telling on himself. He's telling on himself. Now you're going to see the stupid shit that he's saying that does not add up politically, socially, or historically about the Democrats versus the Republicans.
Giving it to somebody else. What part about that is strong? Do we see how the delusion is so deeply embedded? You got people talking about the Democrats got more strong points than the Republicans, right? At this point, in my opinion, Republicans are a little bit better than Democrats because at least they're like willing to talk to you.
Bullshit. Like, what? Okay. All parties are willing to talk to you. Since when have someone in the Democratic Party, right, reached out, all these preachers, pimp preachers, and all these other people reaching out to the Democratic Party, and it's like, nah, nigga, get out of here, right? They all lend you an ear, right? It's PR stuff. It's all PR stuff. Oh, look, I got some black people here, and yes, I'm gonna help them. Look how many, 1, 2, 3, 4 little niggas. Oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of them. Right. They both parties do that. They would listen to you. The problem is, after it's all said and done, and they get our vote, no matter what party you vote for, do they do it? Do they follow suit? And the answer is always no. No is the common denominator. So what the fuck is he talking about? Well, the Republican Party is better than the Democrat Party because at least the Republican Party will listen to you. Like, Trump listened to black people, yes, because he's the president. He's not going to turn them down. Trump is an egomaniac. He thinks he's not that intelligent. All he cares about his ego and how things look. With him, everything is opposite because he still thinks he's on a goddamn apprentice. He'll have a meeting or something like that, and he's, oh, the meetings that I had with the generals were amazing. Like, bitch, you orange bastard, that has nothing to do with ratings. You're the president. Why are you talking about ratings? Right? But that's how he thinks. And anyone that follows politics and Trump knows that. He's about how things look and what would do and how things look to benefit him. Right? Anything that makes him look good, anything to get him richer. Right? Legal or illegally. So again, Brandon's talking shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about, or like you said, he said it himself. He's a Republican. In his opinion, Republicans are better. You know what I'm saying? That's some nigga talking point. You know what I'm saying? That's some nigga stuff. But whatever. Let him. I'm gonna let. He's telling himself. So let's keep it pushing.
Because the Democrats won't talk to you. See, you're saying he didn't offer them reparations. Well, what did he offer them? I'm giving you the link, Lume Dion. Come on here and explain it. Because we just, like, literally, news outlets, white people are mad at this for a different reason than us, but they're not mad because of the reparations. They're mad because why are you giving their taxpayer dollars to immigrants, $450,000 per family? You guys, what is that? What is that? Bradley, you can get on here with if you know the truth and I don't. You guys can keep saying, like, yo, you don't know. But, hey, explain to me what I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to come to explain to him what's going on, and we're going to see how it goes down.
We're going to listen to this, guys. Okay, so you guys are all here. And I'm going to make you small, but if you bring up a good point, I'll make you big because you got to earn the rite of passage. Oh, Black Critic is in this thing. Okay.
See, he knows. He knows how I am, how I get down and things like that. I'm not his yes men. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of yes men that are on here with them, probably because they disagree with him. You know what I'm saying? They probably disagree with him. Or I find in my experience, right, when people will come, right, like his regulars, not many people will disagree with him. They won't challenge him politically. They just nod their head, bring up certain points. Oh, they just totally go to something different. But hey, let's see how this goes down.
So this is the big question, and I'm going to give every single person a chance to answer this, right? Try not to be so long-winded because this should be simple. Okay, we'll start with Tiarka. Tiarka, in 70 years of Black people voting for a Democrat, what have Democrats given us to the point where we're literally accepting them taking our reparations money or attempting to take our reparations money and give it to Hispanic immigrants? What have they done to earn that level of loyalty for us?
Well, I mean, that's a loaded question because I'm not working from the political position that they're doing something with my reparations money. So, you know, your fight right now, your political fight is reparations, and I can see us getting that quicker with the Democrats before getting it with the Republicans. And that's just my opinion. I'm not presenting myself as a political scientist or anything like that, but I see the Democrats more open-minded to that idea of restore, because they're the ones that are addressing these things in the colleges as far as how the system has been, using all of his institutions to discriminate and hold black people down. They're doing that right now. So Republicans are the ones that you see on the news jumping up, calling everything about that critical race theory, trying to shout that down. So if we want reparations, the Republicans are dead set against even holding the conversation of addressing any of the ills that happen to us in this country. So how would they be a better choice?
Okay.
And that's a very, very good point. That's the same premise I'm coming from. Now watch him watch him not answer it, right? Or he always try to answer a question that was asked to him with another question. He avoids it because he knows that that is a valid argument. That is a valid position. That is right historically, politically, and socially. So we're going to see how he answers this.
Hey, let me ask you this question, brother. Donald Trump.
You see? Let me ask you this question. He answers no questions. He answers no questions. Answer that question. Why? Because he's a Republican tool. He's a Republican ass kisser, right? What type of black man has integrity, has some type of integrity to not admit when someone's being racist towards him, whether it be a person or a party? He could look, a smart person or a person that he claims to be would have simply said, you know what, bro, that's true. That is right. I'm not going to deny you that, right? But what we're trying to do here is try, because the Democratic Party say they're for us, but it'll do anything for us politically. So let's jump ship just to change the political shift and change the political spectrum, right? Then that would make sense, right? But he's not going to do that because, as all black Republicans, we got to coon, make excuses for white people that are racist towards us and all that shit. But you'll see. Here we go.
Now, whether you believe Donald Trump would give it to you or not, because the Democrats said they was going to do a bunch of stuff. Well, they didn't even say they was going to do you nothing. And yeah.
That's a lie. Like I said before, Democrats did say they were going to do something, right? Democrats did say that. They didn't do anything. Stop lying.
And Yana B is on you already. That's why they make you think not true. That's what they make you think not true. So basically what you're saying is you feel like Democrats are doing more to address the situations that are impacting black people. But brother, as my brother, I'm telling you, that's just not true. And maybe you watch MSNBC or whatever, but it's just not true. Bro, Joe Biden stripped $50 billion away from HBCUs, bro.
No, he didn't. And that is a lie and a misnomer, right? And this is what we're going to get into. I'm going to let him finish talking his points. You know, he has a lot of rope to hang himself. He's been doing it very well. So we're going to debunk this. Let him finish his point.
Just took it up to $50 billion of funding. So you tell me real quick, how are you saying that they're addressing stuff in the HBCUs when Donald Trump funded HBCUs? Joe Biden just took $50 billion worth of funding from HBCUs. Who do you think is better at that point? The guy who gave money to HBCUs, right, funded them for years, or the guy who stripped $50 billion worth of funding?
How did Trump support HBCU for years? Like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? Like, Trump just got in office. Funding for HBCUs has been going on forever. Right? You know, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. I was going to let him talk and everything, right? But we all know that this is what Republicans do. They take achievements from the last administration, right, that spills over into their administration and take credit for it and says, look, the last administration didn't do anything. Look what I did with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you on a team, right? You learn a relay race, right? Someone's passing you the baton. You're the last person to get the baton, right? All those other past people on your team in a relay race did a very good job to get it to you on time. You cross with the finish line and you saying with the baton, and you on some like, I did it by myself. That's what he's doing politically. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And we all know, like, what? Okay, I'm gonna let him finish.
So y'all can answer that for me.
He never stripped that money. That money is proposed in the new in the bill that's coming up. They're in the back rooms chopping it up about that right now. So they're still on the table. But they're trying. Some are trying to take it off the table. But Joe Biden has nothing to do with that.
Wait. It was 50 billion. It was 50 billion, and then they whittled it down to 2 billion. So you're saying that it wasn't stripped. They proposed 50 billion for us, right, for HBCUs, and then they went and negotiated, and what they decided was the one thing that was expendable was the 50 billion for HBCUs. So the Democrats whittled that down to 2 billion. So you're
That is a lie. That is a lie. He's simplifying something like that. That's a lie. Get down to it and check PolitiFact. This is PolitiFact. It says President Joe Biden cut $30 billion to black colleges and universities, right? They rate this as false. Let's see why. The devil's in the details, right? Right here. So usually, for those of you that don't know, headlines is to get your attention, right? And most people just go off the headlines, don't read the article itself. They will bury the lead within the article. So headlines many a times are misleading. It's just there to grab your attention. Anyone in journalism, anyone that reads newspaper articles, things like that, knows that this is just what they do. This is normal place, right? It's something that they do on a regular basis because they know why. Most people can't read. So what PolitiFact is doing here, say, hey, look, if your time is short, you can't read the whole article. But the article is not really that long. So it says a part of his initial $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation proposal, Biden included $45 billion in new funding for historically black colleges and universities, right? And other higher education institutions that serve minorities. The latest news reports indicate that Biden's proposed $45 billion for HBCUs could be reduced by congressional Democrats to $2 billion. Biden is not cutting it. Biden proposed all that money, right? So again, Brondon is lying, or he's just, like I said, a shitty political commentator, or so many factors that it could be. He's just rooting for the Republicans, right? So a loss for black people under Democratic leadership to him is a W for his racist party. So, as it says right here, congressional Democrats, right? To reduce by the congressional Democrats, Congress, the Democrats in Congress, right? To $2 billion. But even if the amount is reduced, it will not be an increase, not a cut in funding for HBCUs. And this is PolitiFact has a whole bunch of sources right here, right? So these are all their sources that they have right here, right? And they do what pretty much I do. There's a consensus of what it is that they have over here, right? Okay, so let's take it back to the top here. And let me show you this quick video. I claim fair use of this. This is just for educational purposes, just to teach. Please don't flag my channel.
Historically black colleges and universities have a rich history of educating students of color in the United States. Outside the confines of largely white higher education, HBCUs are powerful institutions in academia. They represent a more inclusive type of higher education. HBCUs are historically underfunded by state governments and have seen ebbs and flows in funding from the federal government. There's also a history of majority white institutions receiving federal research funding over HBCUs. When President Joe Biden came into office, he promised to change that. But social media posts say he cut $30 billion from the schools. Is that right? It's time for the Truth-O-Meter Minute. Hi, Hi, I'm Josie with PolitiFact. If you like sorting facts from fiction online, subscribe to this channel and to our email newsletter. So, onto this HBCU claim. Here's the key thing to remember about politics. Things change, and a proposal isn't necessarily the final number. No cuts have been made to the federal government's support of HBCUs, despite what these posts said. Here's what's going on. Biden proposed a $3.5 trillion spending plan, sometimes called the Budget Reconciliation Package. Biden's proposal included $45 billion in new funding to HBCUs and other minority-serving institutions to update their research programs, create incubators, and help traditionally underserved populations. An early October version of the bill included only $2 billion to Black colleges. And even that amount would be competitive grant funding versus direct allocations. But individuals associated with HBCUs say that doesn't give a full picture of federal funding. Walter M. Kimbrough, the president of Dillard University, a private HBCU in New Orleans, was frustrated by false information coming out about the budget proposals. He broke it down for us.
The president just can't come in and say, I'm going to give money here. It's not like he's Oprah. You get money and you get money and you get money. It doesn't work like that. It has to go through the different committees, goes to the House, goes to the Senate. They have to reconcile the budgets and then present it. That's how it works. So most people don't fundamentally understand government.
No final decisions have been made yet on the bill, but as it stands, experts say HBCUs stand to gain funding rather than experience a cut. Plus, under Biden's American Rescue Plan, which passed earlier this year, HBCUs receive $4 billion in relief funding. We rated social posts that said HBCUs would receive $30 billion in financial cuts as false. If you like this video, please share it with others.
So you see there, a lot of false information is going around where Biden is funding HBCUs. He even gave us emergency money for HBCUs here, right? So all these things that Brandon is saying and most people are saying are false, right? So the article pretty much like saying the same thing that she just said. So it says Biden proposed a $3.5 trillion spending plan, sometimes referred to as the Budget Reconciliation Bill, now being debated by Democrats in Congress. It includes $45 billion in new funding for HBCUs and other minority-serving institutions to update their research program, create incubators to help students innovate, and help traditionally underserved populations. Now, on the other side of the aisle, you have Kevin McCarthy here. He says, never in American history has so much been spent at one time. Never in American history will so many taxes be raised and so much borrowing be needed to pay for this reckless spending. So he is not for it at all. You see Kevin McCarthy, he's a Republican, and he's against this bill. He's totally against this bill. So when Brandon was like, the Republicans is a better option, what is he talking about? Now, of course, there's infighting in the Democratic Party, right? With some people on saying like how much we need to spend, right? But they're not totally against the spending. You definitely cannot say that Joe Biden is a part of the problem, right? This is the political process. This is the political process right here. And as of November 18th, as you see right here, this is what is being said. I challenge, show me what Republican is for the spending of this bill currently, right? What Republican agrees with Biden's number, right? With all that money that he wants to spend. That's what I would like to ask him. What person, he say, oh, Biden did this, Biden did that. What Republican is the champion to say, oh, waving a finger at Biden saying, oh, no, Biden, you promised these black people all this money. Shame on you, shame on you. You need to push that agenda. As far as I know, I don't see any of them doing that. They may say, oh, look, Biden promised black people something. Look, they're not even doing anything about it. They may say that to shame him, but are they really genuine when they say that? Before, allegedly, when Biden was cutting the money, were they for all the money that Biden was allocating to black colleges? I don't think so, right? But we're going to go to another article, right? Because Political Fact is good and it has good sources, but I want to go a little bit deeper into this, right? So just one last point here. So the Associated Press reported is a different outlet, right, than Political Fact, right? The Associated Press reported on October 5th that the latest iteration of the reconciliation bill includes only $2 billion that can go toward educational programs and infrastructure for black colleges, and even that amount would be reduced to competitive grant funding rather than direct allocations, right? So it has to do with Biden's infrastructure bill, right? So again, Biden said, hey, look, we need all this money to rebuild our infrastructure. And HBCUs is a part of that bill. So if you have people, so you have Republicans for the most part that saying, oh, that's too much money, right? Remember, there were two parts of the bill, right? The one that's going to benefit us, that's where Republicans are fighting. The first one, it was basically like a corporate welfare type thing, right? So of course, no fighting on that, right? Just like how they had with when all families were supposed to like the what's it called again? The COVID funding relief. Corporations got some, and then when it was time for black people, not black people, but people as a whole, they get some for like family tax credit and things like that. It's like, whoa, 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 how are we gonna pay for that now? I don't know. All of a sudden, it's we have no money. But before, the United States had to print new money just to give corporations and all these big businesses money. When it comes to the average everyday American, whoa, 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 I don't know now. And they were cutting it down, right? They were cutting it down, right? So same thing in this situation right here. It's a part of the infrastructure bill. So the infrastructure bill, right, build back better, Biden's Build Back American plan. If that gets cut, then you got to cut it everywhere else, right? Let's go to another article. Here we have the New York Times article. It says promises made just have to be promises kept. Black colleges feel stung by Democrats, right? It says a rift is forming over the plan to provide only $2 billion out of the $20 billion President Biden proposed to help level the playing field in his social spending package. So right here, you have Pelosi speaking, obviously on the left with Representative of Alma Adams, Democrat of North Carolina, who has threatened to vote against President Biden's sprawling spending bill of the HBCUs don't receive more funding in it, right? So you have that there, so you got black people, they up and, they're upset, obviously, and things like that. But as we see here, it's not a Biden thing, right? So here, New York Times, this is by, obviously, it's a black woman, Erica L. Green. So real quick, it says Washington, as part of President Biden's sprawling domestic policy agenda, has proposed tens of billions of dollars for historically black colleges and universities, a long overdue payment on leveling the playing field between them and their wealthier, predominantly white-serving counterparts, right? But as Mr. Biden's $3.5 trillion vision to rebuild the nation's physical and social infrastructure has met the realities of a divided Congress and a shrinking spending plan. That's the same thing I said. It's a part of the Reconstruction bill, right? Because as we see, HBCUs, they have their infrastructure is crumbling. They need a lot of renovations. They need all these things in order to be done. So all this money is going to be allocated to them in order for them to do that, right? That's what the $3.5 trillion is for, to rebuild the infrastructure of the nation as well as the HBCUs, right? That's what we've been saying all the time. So to put the onus only on Biden when Biden did his job, especially the offer that he offered, no one was saying like, oh, that's all you're giving us. People were content with that offer. But again, it's the process, right? Funding for some of the nation's most under-sourced higher education institutions has fallen way short. The latest iteration of the social spending bill put forth by House Democrats includes billions of dollars in tuition assistance for low-income students, attending HBCUs and other minority serving institutions. So, it's going to be like Hispanics and Arabs and so on and so forth. But instead of an addition 20 billion that Mr. Biden had hoped to be funneled exclusively to schools, part of a 45 billion proposal to upgrade research infrastructure across the country, the House bill proposed, remember, the House bill proposed just 2 billion to be awarded through the competitive grant program that pits roughly 100 HBCUs against hundreds of larger institutions that have far more resources. So again, Biden has did his job as far as that. So to say that Biden cut this, Biden cut that, Biden really cut this, again, Brandon is a shitty political commentator due to either he's extremely misinformed, two, he's just a Republican, so he's not looking for anything. He's coming from a Republican point of view, or he's just dumb. But I don't think he's just dumb. I think it's a mixture of the first two things that I've said. So let's continue.
How are you saying that they're addressing stuff in the HBCUs when Donald Trump funded HBCUs? Joe Biden just took $50 billion worth of funding from HBCUs. Who do you think is better at that point? The guy who gave money to HBCUs, right, funded them for years, or the guy who stripped $50 billion worth of funding? Tayaka, answer that for me.
He never stripped it.
See, there I go. I'm already saying no, because I know what he's saying is false and it's a loaded question. But you will have to know the details to these things to see that he's ill-informed and it's a loaded question, like the brother Taharka said. But continue.
That money is proposed in the new in the bill that's coming up. They're in the back rooms chopping it up about that right now. So they're still on the table. But they're trying. Some are trying to take it off the table. But Joe Biden has nothing to do with that.
Wait. It was $50 billion.
You see, the brother is right. Joe Biden had nothing to do with that, because unlike Brandon, he understands the process, right? So Harker understands the process. Joe Biden allocated, look, I want this much to be funded to HBCUs because it's also a part of the infrastructure, right? Okay, now you guys have to approve it, right? So the brother's right. Brandon is the one that's uninformed and doesn't even know how politics work. He doesn't know how the government works.
It was $50 billion, and then they whittled it down to $2 billion. So you're saying that it wasn't stripped. They proposed $50 billion for us, right, for HBCUs, and then they went and negotiated, and what they decided was the one thing that was expendable was the $50 billion for HBCUs. So the Democrats whittled that down to $2 billion. So you're telling me that they didn't take that away?
Again, wow, very redundant here. They cut the total spending of the infrastructure bill that was a part of it. They didn't say, okay, we're just gonna fuck with black people shit and give them $2 billion instead. It was cuts all through the bill. Those cuts all through the bill, and we got cut like everybody else.
That's still on the table, even though.
Can I answer that?
Wait a minute. You're gonna get your turn, brother. I'm with Tiarka real quick. So Tiarka.
See, I'm like mad anxious because like I'm like at this point, like, you know what, Brandon, he probably just doesn't know or whatever and stuff like that. So let me help Hark out or whatever, or co-sign. But I have to, it's his show. I gotta give to Harker the floor, and it's Brandon's show too. It's Brandon's show as well. So I have to let him say what he have to say and do his show. So let's continue.
Okay. If they offered you $50 billion, then they took it all the way down to $2 billion. They didn't take $48 billion away from you. Answer that for me.
It's money that was proposed that they're still trying to compromise about.
Brother, we get that it was money.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, as far as that, yeah, they did. They stripped it away, but certain people stripped it away.
Wait, stop.
Not everyone.
Stop. The Democratic Party is a party, brother. That means they're all in it together. We're not going to do this game where they're accountable for the good shit as a collective. But
again, his dumbass doesn't know how politics work, or you know what? He does know how it works, but he's number one, he's bullying him. He's badgering him. He's trying to answer the question. We all know these things have to be voted on, right? Not so. If this infrastructure is a bipartisan bill, right? Which meaning the Democrats and the Republicans are going to have to vote on it. It could just be a partisan bill, but Joe Biden is weak as fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's what was one good thing about Trump. Trump was like, "Nah, shit. What? I got all the power. I don't have to ask other people to push this through. Fuck it. I don't need y'all, right?" So Republicans understand power, but we all know these things are voted on. So it doesn't have to be a unanimous decision within the party for it to pass, right? It's majority rules. So if the majority rules in a democratic system, which is one that we're in, all bills that are, when it comes to the process, are voted on. It's not one person. It's not two people. It's a group of people, right? So him saying, well, we're not going to tell them when they do the good shit and do the bad shit, again, he's being disingenuous about the political process because his ass is getting checkmated.
And when they do bad shit, we're going to go try to target individuals.
I agree.
That's the monkey game they got you playing. Joe Biden.
No, I'm not.
Wait a minute. I'm going to let you talk.
No, you're not going to let him talk because you're in your fucking emotions right now, right? You're in your emotions right now. You're not going to let him talk. That's why he's being dishonest. He's not earnest, right? He wasn't genuine when he's like, hey, I want to know. No, you don't want to know.
Joe Biden told you that he was going to, you put him in office. He said, I couldn't have done this without you. Didn't he say that? Yes or no?
Hell yeah, he said this.
Okay, so if we supported him, and politics is an exchange, right? Not a gift like Yvette said.
Right.
Why did our 50 billion get taken away? Not the billions that he wants to give to Afghan immigrants or the billions that he wants to give to Hispanic immigrants. Why did we have to lose 50 billion? Why couldn't they lose the money that they're getting?
See, I agree with you. And you're right, the Democrats.
But you still up here caping for this shit.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, bro. Because I'm not a Democrat, but I'm sure.
Hold on.
Again, cutting him off. He makes accusations. He doesn't let you finish your point. He makes accusations on your points of view and your character, and you can't even defend yourself. It's always stop. This is a trend. Y'all can see this is a trend.
Donald Trump. I don't want to hear the emotional shit about he wasn't going to give it to us because at this point, ain't nobody gave us nothing. Did Donald Trump or did he not offer you $500 billion for you?
Yeah, I know where that money was coming from, too.
Okay, stop.
It wasn't for me.
Stop, brother. Stop. He offered $500 billion for black businesses, education, and infrastructure. He offered you $500 billion.
Donald Trump offered black people $500 billion after 4 years of doing nothing for black people. That is a political campaign slogan that he was doing. Like I said earlier, Democrats do it, Republicans do it. But at the end of the day, the common denominator is when they hold the power in order to do it, they don't do it. So Brandon is saying, oh, he offered us $500 billion. Yes, when he was campaigning, right? So he get the black vote. Because when we looked at Donald Trump did not get the majority of the black vote, right? That's why he lost, right? So in the last election where he was president, yes, there was a little shift of black voters, but not in significant numbers, right? It was the electoral college. Remember, Donald Trump lost the popular vote, right? It's the electoral college that made him president. So he's not popular politically when it comes to the voters, right? So this is a campaign promise they saying, and I'll show you later. Well, he'll show you later. Well, like I said, I'm gonna have Brandon keep hanging himself.
This man had 50 billion just for the schools and took that away. Wait a minute, and took that away and whittled it down to 2 billion. What's more money, brother? 500 billion or 2 billion?
All right, Brandon.
I want to answer that question. I'm going to talk. What's more money? 500 billion or 2 billion?
Of course, 500 billion is more, but that 500 billion was was already in the budget to be released for that anyway. He was saying we could get a part of some of those contracts within that 500 million. The 500 million wasn't coming to us.
500 million. It was 500 billion.
Billion, yeah.
And he worked that deal out with Ice Cube with his plan, his deal with Black America. That was specifically for Black businesses, education, and all that. So Trump got on stage and said,
And what happened? That was during the Trump administration. So when Ice Cube and all these people was like, hey, look, we need this, we need that. They're all in the White House and things like that. What happened to that? What happened to that? Like, please let me know what bill was passed under Trump due to the influence of Ice Cube and other people. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Vote for me. I'll get you 500 billion for you, for your people. Now, tell me this. Why are we sitting up defending a dude who offered us only 50 billion? Okay, let me ask you another question. Did Trump or did Trump not?
More questions. You can't even say what you want to say because he cuts you off. You see this shit?
Fund HBCUs for the next 10 years. Right or wrong? He extended Obama's policy.
Hey,
right
listen, bro. Hey, but let me say, I'm telling you this as my brother. I never defend Joe Biden in nothing. So don't think I'm doing that.
I want you to explain your position, brother.
Okay.
You just told me that a group that is consistently, not only are they not giving us nothing, they're taking away from us. And you're saying that we got a better chance with them than the Republicans. And I'm asking you how, when the Republicans said 500 billion for you specifically, and the Democrats was like 50 billion. Wait a minute, make that 30 billion. Wait a minute, make that 2 billion. And then it's not even there. We don't even got it yet. How is that a better choice?
They're in the back room negotiating, though, Brandon. This is something that they're in the back room negotiating. That 500 million that Trump and Ice Cube
negotiation. We went and voted for the other guy, so they never got to the point of negotiating.
No, I'm saying the bill that's supposed to be up in Congress right now. I forget the name. I can't think of the name right now. But the reconciliation,
Build Back Better plan.
Not the reconciliation.
Brother, listen to me. Biden promised you nothing. Okay, we go to the next person. We come into Black Critic next. Listen, Biden. What did Biden promise you during the election? Tiarka, what did Biden promise you during the election?
This fool said that he would not forget black people.
Okay, that's what he said. Now, what did Trump promise you?
You will have to refresh my memory on
that.
I
don't say it. He said 500 billion if you voted for him. He promised.
He said 500 billion if you voted for me after 4 years being in office doing nothing for black people. But this time it's going to be different. Like, get the fuck out of here. Are you that gullible? Are you that desperate that you will believe Donald Trump, a known racist, a known person that lies, right? To this time he's going to give black people money? You think he's actually gonna do that once he's in office? How is his base gonna react to that? Right? How is his base gonna react to him being a white nationalist, a white supremacist, getting all these black people and other minorities all this money. And like I said, you have to know politics in order to see through his bullshit.
You that it's all over YouTube. Platinum plan. We all know about it. What did Biden promise you? What did he promise you? Not what. I'm not going to forget you. What did he promise you, Biden?
Nothing.
What did Trump promise you?
But I don't agree with your premise about 500 million.
Answer the question. You can't answer the question. I just told you.
Again, cut him off. You can't let someone say what they have to say. All you do is question the person and anyway, I'm gonna let this rock out because we're about to wrap it up soon.
Trump promised platinum plan. Everybody in the audience knows that. 500 million.
I know the facts behind that, Brandon. I know some of the facts behind that.
Well, listen, brother, I'm giving you a chance to be a man and be honest about the shit.
I am. I'm being honest.
No, you're not, because you're trying. Because I'm asking you, what did Biden promise you? Nothing. What did Trump promise you? I know the facts behind it. Trump promised you 500.
You're leading me to try. You're leading me, and
we all know what he did. That's what.
Exactly. He's trying to if you don't answer the question how he wants to answer the question, he gets to say he cuts you off. He asks you loaded questions, and not even after he doesn't even understand your position, right? But the brother is trying. He doesn't want to listen. I'm gonna try. Same thing's gonna work out the same way, right? And I'm gonna let him rock. But when I hit him with certain things, you're gonna see. So I'm going to end it right here for now. And the next, in part 2, you're going to see where my interaction is going to be. And it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. He's going to get pissed off because I'll knock him off his square and all this other shit. And this is and it's going to be nuts. So as you see here, he's going all crazy and ballistic, because dude is trying to explain, Talker's trying to explain to him the process. He can't get his statement out because Brandon keeps saying, hold on. He keeps caping for the Republican Party where it's saying they offer you something. He is literally fighting black people trying to push Republican agendas. This is the type of dude that would protect racists over his own people because he think, well, the racists have our best interests in mind and at heart. You know what I'm saying? How is that? And all this is based upon a false notion, a false promise. If Donald Trump was genuine in offering and helping black people, he would have did it for the 4 years he was there without black people intervening. Right? He would have did it without black people intervening and without, them hey man, we need something to be done. Fine, I give you that, right? But 4 years into his presidency, he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't doing anything for black people. He didn't do anything. So 4 years come, y'all Negroes didn't learn anything yet, right? Just like how they do with the Democratic Party. Okay, y'all didn't learn anything yet. Y'all, I'm pandering to you and stuff like that. This is a campaign promise. And now, here I am, promise you more money. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Any political scientist, anyone that knows what's going on, even if Donald Trump were to become president, he would have not done that. Just like he didn't do it in the last 4 years. But don't worry, the best is yet to come. Peace. Remember, share, subscribe. And I'm going to get part 2 to you as soon as you can. You're going to love it.